Well, welcome everyone to the next step in customer experience, Bertrand's Blustream and TriTech partner to advance music retail. I'm Emily Lagasse, the VP of Marketing at Blustream, and I'm excited to be here with all of you today. Our webinar will focus on how our three companies are collaborating to revolutionize the customer experience in the music retail industry, and we'll be sharing some valuable insights and examples before engaging in a panel discussion with our guests. As a quick housekeeping note, we've already collected some questions from your peers, but please don't hesitate to use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask anything that comes to mind during the webinar. We will do our best to answer as many of your questions as possible, and if we don't get to all of them, we'll be sure to follow up with you directly after the session. And now, without further ado, I'm thrilled to turn things over to Ken to kick us off.
Thank you, Emily. So what we're going to do is a combination of coming back to the panel like this and a few slides. So let me make sure that's all working. We're going to start with, let's see. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Great. So as Emily said, I also would like to welcome everyone. And what we've planned for the next 35 to 40 minutes is to start with some panel introductions and then move to a topic of what's next in customer experience. And then we'll introduce Blustream and some technology and end up back with our panel to have an open Q&A session to really get into some of the details. So without further ado, let me thank our guests, Pat and Jeff, and look forward to introducing you guys. And I'd like to start by saying what a wonderful gathering of companies and all of you who are joining us today to continue to improve the music industry and helping with education and bringing our next generations of musicians into the fold of playing music. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and I think that puts us back to the panel. And Pat, would you like to introduce yourself and TriTech?
Sure. My name is Pat Murphy, president of TriTech. I'm actually a fill-in today. Paul was the CEO of the company, was supposed to be here, but unfortunately his mother had a medical emergency and he's not with us today. But the good news is, last I heard, his mother's doing remarkably well for what she's gone through, but the next couple of weeks will be pretty critical for her recovery. I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone here is familiar with TriTech, but briefly, we've been around since 1984. We've been providing point of sale software, inventory control software to independent music retailers. We offer a flexible modular design to our software, and we have modules specific for the music industry, such as rentals, contracts, service, lessons, scheduling, things like that. We also offer an Active E integration service, which extends the AIM software to the outside world, to other apps, websites, third-party tools, or even things that your own developer could do. And we're here and happy to announce that Blustream integration is our newest addition to our suite of services.
Thanks, Pat. Wonderful. We're super happy to be part of it too.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Hello, my name is Jeff Bertrand. I am the president of Bertrand's Music. I must have just gotten a title increase because we used to call myself the head janitor, but now I guess I'm the president. Bertrand's has been in business for 40 years. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. It was founded by my father, John Bertrand Sr. We are a school music retailer, so we focus on servicing schools, doing rentals. We use TriTech. We use every single module inside of TriTech. And then just a quick note, if there are non-school music dealers that are on this call, the Blustream platform so has advantages for school music dealers as well as just your regular guitar type shop.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeff. And we're going to hear more about your experiences a little later in this webinar. And as I said, I'm Ken Rapp. I'm the CEO of Blustream. We're super excited to be part of this next step in customer experience. And I want to share with everyone that I am a working amateur musician in a classic rock band. And there's nothing like walking over to some of the kids who might be at a gathering and handing my pick to one of the kids and letting them play a little on the guitar to inspire them to want to learn more and become part of this wonderful music community. So I'm thrilled that we're investing together and we're here to share the beginnings of our story with all of you. So what I'm going to do is go back to our PowerPoint slides. Can everyone see that? Excellent. Great. So I'm going to spend a minute on, customer experience, and we all know this because we all have, everyone on this call has businesses that are successful and we're delighting our customers, but it really is amazing to me the facts around customer experience initiatives and the impact on leaders who are really serious about improving customer experience. From the Temkin group, there's a couple of metrics: doubling revenue in under 3 years when companies focus on customer experience by really understanding contextually what their customers need and what they're doing. And that's real dollars that affect us. Further, they talk about what are the motivations or the reasons why companies invest and manage customer experience initiatives. And these are very familiar terms, but very measurable. A, to improve cross-selling and upselling by having a relationship with a customer. B, to improve customer retention. And then C, to improve customer satisfaction. So I think these are compelling metrics, and what I find most useful from this is that you can actually see the impact on your business as a result of investing in this customer experience area. Lastly, the Epsilon study talked about personalizing experiences for our customers, and that 80% of customers are more likely to do business with a company if it really does offer the personalization. And so as that backdrop, all of us knowing that engaging with customers and helping them have a marvelous experience with our companies, that really was the motivation for Blustream to be formed. And what I'm going to do is turn our attention to a little introduction about Blustream and then the technology. As a company, we went out and asked lots of customers what was missing. And what we discovered was there's an opportunity by shifting the mindset to helping customers after the sale. And all of us buy things. We buy maybe too many instruments, my wife would tell you, or maybe we buy a lawnmower or other things in our lives. And when we have, there's 3 times when we really could use some help, particularly if we're beginners. The first is in the unboxing area, and that's when you first never had a guitar or never had a violin, and you unbox it and you wonder, where should I start? The second is once you're up and running and you've now gotten comfortable, you want to learn and enjoy that product and learn how to use it and really all around the usage of the product or the guitar or the violin or the flute. And that's a place that has lots of rich opportunity for engagement around the customer experience. And then finally, care and maintenance to help if maybe there's some troubleshooting, if a string is buzzing or if there's it's getting dry here. I'm in the Boston area, and we're just finally coming into some warmer weather. I know some of you don't have snow blowers. We're putting our snow blowers away, but it's interesting because if a string is buzzing or if I should be polishing the fretboard, giving me some help around that area. So the point here is that product ownership has a number of touch point opportunities to help build a relationship, a trusted relationship between our companies and our customers. And so that's really what Blustream is all about. We've built a technology platform that automatically assists the consumer, the instrument player, with the unboxing and onboarding, learning and enjoying, and care and maintenance. And the way the system has been architected and how it works is it's designed to look and interactively dialogue, ask questions of the player, of the renter, about their usage. How often do they play their violin per week or per month? And then environmental conditions, like if it's too dry or too moist, or too hot or too cold. And then finally, skill level, by interacting about, are you a beginner, or are you an intermediate player or an expert player? And all of those triggers, we call them, those attributes of the personal attributes of the player, then trigger tips, alerts, and purchase recommendations. And so think of Blustream as having all of these attributes and actions happening in a cloud that begins to contextualize a personal relationship on your behalf. So as a business, using Blustream, a customer post-purchase will start to get a dialogue and get some tips and get some information that all allows the player to drive the interactions and the messages based on their pace. And then what our cloud does is it contextualizes the messages specific to personalize for that particular customer. So a beginner who's playing 2 hours a day because they're very excited and happen to live in cold weather will get different messages than an expert user who's now not playing as much and in the dry weather. And so that's really what the next step in customer experience is, to move to the ownership experience and add that to all the pre-sale data and information that businesses have. Okay. So continuing the theme of personalization, what I also, being a little more experienced in my life and a little older than this next set of generations, it's quite remarkable to me that 66% of consumers now really prefer SMS and text messaging over email. And so to create a personalized relationship and to have responses back from your players, we've chosen to use SMS. We can integrate with other types of applications or email or however else you'd like to use the cloud and the platform. But what we find is the engagement rates are just significant when using SMS. And here's an example with a young player getting a message about their playtime because they told you through our cloud that they might play, 4 hours a week. And after about 3 weeks, there's 10 to 15 hours of playing and they might want to change their strings. The other part of having a relationship between you and your customer and contextualizing that relationship is to try and understand where they might fail or be failing and struggling and proactively help them succeed. So I'm going to show you in a minute or two the analytics and the data that's at your fingertips as a business, and ultimately you'll be able to use that data to make decisions about how to treat different segments or audiences, we call them, which groups of of the personalized messaging are responding and how to best help them. Okay, 2 quick comments on value, and then we'll take a look at the product so that we can get to our panel discussion. So first is, I love this quote from someone who told us that, for a few dollars a year per customer, they're guaranteed to retain hundreds of dollars of revenue. It's a no-brainer. And it really struck me that, Blustream's platform, like many platforms, is, a few cents a week for the connection. But if you are if you have a recurring revenue business and, a model where you're looking to retain customers, and that if you lose a customer, you actually lose that revenue, then it struck me that this is a fantastic opportunity for a very low price. In fact, I think maybe our prices are too low. So that's me saying that from my desk, not something we're going to act on at the moment. But I think it's huge value to help connect you with your customers at this stage. Also, we hear quite often the words lifetime value. We hear net promoter scores going up. But probably most important is to think about, if you've got a personalized connection, automated connection, helping your customers, the engagement rates are incredibly high. Retention and engagement means that your customers are actually loving hearing from you to help them through that unboxing, onboarding, enjoying and learning, and then finally maintenance and care. And therefore, it's helping drive more revenue to your company. All right. Well, without further ado, what we'd like to do is shift gears and actually show you the product, and then we're going to come back to the panel. So what we're going to see is, we'll start with the TriTech Blustream seamless integration. I'll show you a quick slide on that. And then we're going to see a live demonstration. And the Bertrand music company, Jeff, thank you very much. We're going to show an example of a Bertrand, what we call product journey, a product assistant journey, and how an interaction can take place between the Bertrand company and their customer out there, as an example. And then from there, we're going to look at the data and analytics. All right. So those of you with TriTech AIM as a platform, point of sale system, this left side of the screen will be familiar to you. When a rental contract is entered, it's under the covers, automatically will send the data to the Blustream system, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, and launch, or what we call trigger, a product assistant journey based on the product, the customer, and any other attributes, categories, or subcategories that are required. And if technology is on our side today, this will now flip over. And can you all see the video? And I'm going to run this video. Emily shaking her head yes. Thank you, Emily. So what we see is the first touch point that came through, asked the question, it welcomed the Bertrand Student Advantage Program, welcomed the customer, and then offered up some frequently asked questions that they might have. And then sometime in the future, the journey asks how often they're playing, so that the future of the messaging becomes personalized to that amount of playing. And in this case, because of the amount of playing, what we see here is that by tracking the usage and hours played, the Bertrand company could send along a recommendation on rosining the bow, which is what we just saw. Sometime down the road, a message will come out that says, maybe you'd like to buy some rosin, and the link, what we're seeing is a trigger, which might be time or someone who clicked on a message, a message itself, which is the text, and a link. That's the way the Blustream cloud works for personalization. You set up your trigger, your message, and your link, and you can see that we're walking through the different triggers and messages and links, and the links are tailored to your particular company. And so here, there's best practice that Jeff and his team have put together with the Blustream team, so that we have a template ready to go for a variety of instruments. But what you're seeing is now that interaction and personalization to this particular user, setting shoulder rests, asking if they know about Bertrand's offering free inspections, adjustments, and basic repairs, maybe come back into the store. Did you know that? Been with us for a couple of months, offer some studio training space, like to learn more. Staff of 25 professionals are ready to talk with you and would love to engage. And then some information about getting ready for school year rentals. All right. So from there, you can imagine the data that is available on the cloud dashboards for your business. And now I'm going back to just a demonstration set of data, but you see on the left-hand side a panel which is all about the messaging performance. So here we're able to very quickly see which messages got through, which messages got a click, which messages had answers, and then you can watch the retention rate of your customers out in their own world as they're playing. So for example, the message performance data of engagement and retention on the lower, right below that box, the 95.35% is an example of retention. Customers or players who are continuing to enjoy getting messages and really top of mind to your business as a result of you helping them through that unboxing, onboarding, enjoying, learning, and taking care of an instrument. On the right-hand side, we see another dashboard, which is all about the customer and product analytics, which I look at this almost like when I've bought a car before, I've looked at a Carfax, which gave me the history of the ownership prior to me, so that I have the ability to learn from how that car operated in the wild. And here what we have is every answer to any questions, historical usage data, skill data, environmental information, that then allows us to understand contextually an individual customer or player or renter or a collection of renters. And for example, here we're looking at a chart of how many hours a month, or how many, actually this one's how many days a month are you picking up and playing your instrument. And here we can segment this audience by clicking on any number of these slices of the pie, and we'll get a quick snapshot of the customers or renters we have in the database who are on journeys available. So let's say you have a very high, very active group playing every day of the month. You can click on that and say, run a program or a special invitation reception to have a jam session with the higher players. Let's say they were a group that were not playing a lot. Maybe that's an opportunity to go back to those customers and offer some additional training or lessons, or reach out directly to find out how you might help. So in summary, what we've looked at is we've looked at the customer experience world as having direct measurable opportunities out there. We've looked at after sale ownership as the next step in customer experience. And I walked through a very high level, quick review of how the Blustream platform integrates with the AIM TriTech platform seamlessly, and then all the data that's available to engage and delight your customers. What we're going to do now is get to the Q&A and hear from the voices of the panel. And so I'll turn the ball back over to Emily.
Great, thank you, Ken. And just as a reminder to our attendees, if you do have any questions that you would like answered during this segment, please feel free to enter your question into the Q&A and we will address that. And if we run out of time, we'll be sure to follow up with you after the session. So our first question today is for Pat. So Pat, as we from Blustream have gotten to know you and the TriTech team, we really think the world of you. It's clear TriTech has a strong commitment to customer success, and the way that your team has built the company by listening to customers has clearly put you in a leadership position in the industry. Could you share a little bit with us about how you listen to customers as a way to continue to provide more value to them and their businesses?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, we constantly are enhancing our software, and the people that are using our software know that we put out builds and patches just about every week or every other week, and that's all based on customer input. And I think one of the reasons we have grown so much is we do listen to our customers' needs. In fact, I think we're probably one of the very few software companies out there that still have a real live tech support staff based in the United States that will take phone calls. There's so many software providers out there. It's just all email service type of thing. But I mean, you can actually give us a call and we'll walk you through things and take your input. And then like I said, all of our enhancements are based on customer input. We evaluate everything that comes across to us that customers are asking for, and we have to, unfortunately, we get more than we can handle, but we do prioritize it based on, the biggest benefit that is going to help our user base.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's why we realized very early on in the relationship that it was such a good fit, because we also similarly prioritize customer success and listening to our customers and their customers. All right. So Jeff, the next question is for you, and I will combine it with a question we've received from someone in the audience. So I was hoping you could share a little bit about how Bertrand is currently using the Blustream platform and what impact it's having on your business. And someone from our audience also wanted us to clarify who is the customer. They wanted to know if we were counting on parents to receive texts and to assess student need and follow up, or who we're communicating to through the texts.
Sure. So for us, we're really just tapping the surface of what Blustream can do. I think we've been on board a little more than a year right now. We spent a lot of time in building out our journeys, giving a partnership with Blustream where they really worked to help us create the journeys. And now they have templates set up. So that process is going to be a lot easier for anyone who wants to jump on board at this point in time. But our main focus at this point in time has really been on our rental customers. For years, we talked about how we're not reaching our rental customers after that first initial engagement. And the next time we hear from them is when they're either going to return the instrument, or maybe perhaps they were a savvy customer and they actually reached out to us and want to make a purchase. So Blustream really enabled us to create these journeys and put these customers on these journeys and just constantly be in communication with that customer. When I say constantly, we're looking at once or twice a month. We're not trying to overwhelm the customer, but we're really trying to give them valuable information about their instrument rental that will lead to additional revenue from us. Either one, by simply just keeping them engaged in playing the instrument, because now they're getting a quick lesson, or they're getting a tip, or they're learning how to care for the instrument. In addition to that, it really gives us valuable information about who is engaged. So instead of us having to randomly pick 100 clarinet rentals and say, hey guys, give them all a call and see if any of them want to take lessons. we can look at that defined list and say, hey, look, these 25 are actively engaged in our journeys. Let's start there. Let's see if we can get them on board with lessons. And then the last part is this is communication with the parents.
Great. Thank you so much. And Ken, this might be a great time to just speak a little bit to the number of templates that we have for music retailers and how they might work in instances of sales and rentals, and how you're seeing our customers use that.
Yeah, thank you. And a comment, just a follow-up to Jeff's point is, we have worked really hard, and your team has worked really hard, Jeff, to put together these templates for the music industry rental world. And not only that, but we continued, as Pat said, to add features and improve our product till we were ready to have this discussion with the industry. And thank you for that. It's been a dynamite relationship. So to answer the question, Blustream provides templates that are basically, think of them in a library that you can pull out of the library and then edit the messages and edit the links. So if you, what we found is most businesses already have the content that they might think is best practice for their customer base on their website. But what happens is a new renter or a new customer learns about that on day one, and then they go home and they start playing and they don't remember all the wonderful resources available. And so what we're doing is we're taking the perfectly timed question and answer driven message and linking it to the content that's available. So the templates are where we start, and we have a whole variety of templates across many different industries. In the musical rental industry, we have a library that we've collaborated with Jeff, you and your team. And so those are available to the industry. But the work is pretty quick to get up and running now, because you take the template, and our team will invest in the relationship as a result of having this meeting. We're happy to invest in the relationship and help you as a business connect up your links and train you how you can edit the messages to be your name, your brand, and you're up and running. Basically, add those renters through the contracting, and they start getting messages.
Great. And we have a couple of follow-up questions from the audience. I think it's two separate questions. One is, if a store is light on video and written content, they're wondering if there's existing content that they can access for ongoing use. And then we had another participant wondering if the SMS content is already created. So I think those are two separate questions. If the SMS messages in the templates are already written, and is there existing content that they can access?
So yes and yes are the short answers. So the templates come with the right triggering mechanism of the message. So let's say the first trigger is to say, on day one after the rental, send a welcome message and a thank you message. And if a customer, a renter's parent clicks on that, the click itself could trigger that, okay, 3 days later, now send another message. If they don't click on it, it might be 2 weeks later before the next message comes. All the triggering is aligned as a result of the template based on weather, usage, clicks, and time. The text itself is also there. So the SMS message itself is already in the template. It's editable, but it's available. And then the links are also in the template. And today there are links with content, as you saw. Some of it, I think, Jeff, maybe you could comment. Some of it went directly to your store where you were offering to sell some of the accessories and supporting care items that your players might have needed. And some of it went somewhere else to a best practice or a recommended store. So the links become completely available to wherever you want them to go.
Great. And
so I guess let me ask the question, Jeff. If if there's a link on a template today that you've already sorted out, a best practice, is that available to the webinar attendees?
It is, yes.
Perfect.
Great. And we have a related question from the audience about how easy is it to develop a new template that is unique or customized to their business?
So it's very easy for you because Blustream does that work on as an investment in the relationship.
Right.
And we're very interested in doing that. That's if you think about our business as Blustream as a software provider, we want to learn about your needs, and we're making the investments in templates so that we can provide it to the entire industry. None of the data is available to the industry, but the core logic of going through unboxing a product, and we're in many different industries now. So whether it's you're unboxing a new plant that you're going to need to put in the sun and water a certain period of time and watch it grow and learn how to change the soil or adjust the soil, we found there's remarkable consistency in an unboxing template from plants to puppies to violence. So, and we share that with the industry, the genericized template best practice for unboxing, enjoying, using, and caring for products and services.
Great. So Pat, we have a question for you. If you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the Blustream and TriTech integration and how they work together. Ken showed us a little bit in the slides, but it would be great to just understand, for people who are familiar with TriTech, what that might look for them, how seamless of an experience is it for them and their customers.
Sure. On our end, there's a Blustream setup screen, and I think it's just like 3 or 4 pieces of information. It's just a matter of copying and pasting it from the Blustream site into our setup screen. It's basically credentials, so Blustream knows whose messaging is coming into them. And then in our system, I think we're up to about 18 to 20 events now. So when those events happen, and they can be anything from a new contract, a contract being returned, a contract being exchanged, somebody clicking that they do not want to receive SMS messages anymore, a sale, an order has been received, all kinds of different things in our software. We send out what we call an event, and basically it goes to Blustream, and it can go to other people too, like Podium Check It and things like that for different other things. But we send a payload, and the payload includes like the customer information, the phone number that they want to be texted at, and information about that event, whether it was a sale or a contract, the items that they purchased or the returning or whatever. And then that goes directly to Blustream, and then Blustream takes that information and starts their journey with that.
Great. And as a follow-up question to that, this might be answered by both Ken and Pat, but someone is asking what kind of support is provided by Blustream and TriTech when implementing the platform. They're hoping that, the migration of their data is seamless and wouldn't cause them any troubles. Would you be able to speak to that a little bit?
Sure. We like I said earlier, we have a complete support department, and it just kind of depends on what the question or the issue that you're having is, where you start, whether you would start with Blustream or whether you start with TriTech. But I think either way, wherever you start with, I think our philosophy has always been that if somebody calls us and we find out that the issue isn't a setup issue on our side, but maybe it's something going on the other side, is we'll try and connect all 3 of us on a call at once and get the problem or issue sorted out. I'm sure Blustream would be the same way.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. We want the call. If any of our customers have any issues at all, we want the calls, and we'll work together with our partners to make sure that we resolve the issue. We have a reputation for that. We're completely committed to your success as businesses out there, and it's our job to make it easy for you to talk to either of us. That's why we're together, or even on this webinar, to demonstrate, our commitment to customers together.
So back to Jeff, we have a question here about, when you were evaluating using Blustream for your business, were there other integrations or platforms you were considering? And then also, if you're comfortable sharing, what other integrations do you use, and how do you see kind of like your whole stack of platforms that you're using?
Yeah, so we're really heavy on trying to find automation, anything that's going to require less staff. It's very expensive to live in California, and it's very expensive to employ people in California. So the more efficiently we can do our business, the more successful we're going to be. So we do use other platforms. Checkit is one that we use. This is a completely different platform from Checkit or Podium, because it's really content-based marketing, right? It's not a notification that, hey, your repair is ready, or hey, we need you to make a rental payment. It's really trying to drive home that content to that student who's renting, or we haven't tapped the other things, whether it be lessons or sales or recruitment, but those are on our agenda. This is really just going to give that customer that extra bit about your store and really help that customer experience. So the next time they need something in the music industry, whether it be a box of reeds, or they have a friend who needs to make a purchase or a rental, they're going to be out there saying, hey, I'm going to go to Bertrand's, or I'm going to go to XYZ Music, because this is the experience that they created for me. So that's why really we jumped on board with Blustream. And then of course the automation is just amazing, because once that journey starts, there really isn't much you have to do. You need to have someone who's analyzing the data so that you can take the data and decide, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to reach out to these people for sales, lessons? What do you want to do? But once they're on the journey, and now with this TriTech integration, where we used to have to export and then import these customers into the journey, now they're automatically going to be set on this journey. It's just amazing. And then the last, because I know we're running short on time, I just wanted to I've seen a few questions regarding like, how long is it going to take to set up? How much is it going to take the man? Bertrand's and Blustream and a few other music retailers have really already done all that heavy lifting for you. I always say, people think I'm crazy, but I always have a saying that says done is better than perfect. So get on board, get your journey started, get it done. Then you can fine tune it and, make sure, things are right. But, get ready, start that communication. Many of you are coming up on rental season, whether it be in the spring or in the fall. And, now's the time to jump on board for the rental platform process and just get set up and get ready to go, so that next year, when your customers are renting, they have a better experience and they pick XYZ Music for their rental and tell their friends about it versus ABC Music, your competitor.
Great, thank you, Jeff. I know we're just running up here on time, and I'd like to turn it back to Ken for our last question. I know the question on a lot of people's minds right now is, how they can get started. We've had several questions about how difficult it is, what kind of resources are required, how many people on their team would they need to have involved to get this going. So could you speak a little bit to how simple it is to get started and what's involved? And we've also had a couple of questions about pricing.
So there's a lot of questions there in less than 60 seconds. But
I know.
I'd wrap up by saying, echoing what Jeff said, that the huge heavy lifting is done. We're now showing up, and in an hour webinar, an hour web call, Zoom call, we're getting companies up and running. They start loading contacts, and then we learn together. Just like you said, Jeff, it's an hour. So we have with the templates built, we meet with you for about a half an hour ahead of time, and then our delivery team We'll meet with you. It takes about an hour, and then we would never publish anything until you approve it. So it's just simply to give you back from your perspective the template with all of your particulars for your store and your customers, and then you approve it and you can start loading contacts and running. You'll start getting data that first day. And from our perspective for webinar attendees, we'll waive our startup and onboarding fee. So it's roughly $5,000 worth of value is waived for webinar attendees. And our plans start at $199 a month based on the number of messages and the number of end consumers or players that you have. And it ranges, but that's roughly where you could start. So 199 bucks and experience on a monthly basis. I got to admit, this was fantastic. Thank you, everyone who came and joined us today. Thank you, Jeff and Pat and Paul, for all the hard work that our teams are doing together to enable a real shift in the music industry. I think we have done the heavy lifting. We've all invested here. And now, I'm just, as I started, I'm hopeful that we'll help the end players, the young, new players have an amazing experience and then want to be in the music industry for their entire lives, like all of us. With that, I'll say thank you. I'm going to put up a screen here and I'll leave it up with my contact information, and I can make sure we get information, or I'm happy to route anyone and engage, Jeff's team, Pat's team with any questions. If you scan the QR code, which is also part of something we didn't talk about, putting QR codes or QR care codes on printed out on cases or on instruments in the right locations, your customer can scan it and then come right to your business. So anyone who would like to get time on my calendar, I'm right here on that QR code. We'll leave it up, and we'll say, everyone have a great day. Thank you.